Okay, sit rep. We are on the road. We're about 10 miles from the casino. Yeah! New wheel. Heck yeah. I'll flash a logo up here on the screen so I don't get the name completely wrong. All in cycles? All in cycles, I'm pretty sure. Man, very much appreciate the effort they put in to get this to me. Yeah. Sure, it's nice having a wheel that is round and true and doesn't weeble wobble. Very cool. Now, I was getting rained on, so I stopped and put my jacket on. Just starting, and I'm like, well, is it... Because the forecast, I was looking at some of the moving radar, and it's like there's a big swirl that's centered, I don't know, St. George area by now, I think. So there's kind of arms coming off of it. That's what these bands of clouds are. So we had a great big patch of blue when I was leaving town. And now, half an hour, 45 minutes later, I got the next band. But what I could see, there really wasn't much behind it. But it is already 4 o'clock, and I typically stop at 4, but I basically left at 2:30 and then got the wheel. I've got two options. On this exit about a few miles down is apparently like a parking spot that everybody parks their trucks and trailers for their ATVs and side-by-sides. So that would be a decent place to park, because once they load and go home, I'd have the place to myself till morning. I don't think I'm going to get just hammered with rain, so I think I'm going to push on a little bit. The second option is, yeah, there was a truck park a few miles further up, I think. Kind of like the one I camped at the last campsite in Arizona. So I'll probably do that. Also, I was in a hurry when I was grabbing everything and putting it all together, so I want to take a couple minutes and just look at the bike now to make sure I'm not dragging too much stuff. I can see a couple straps hanging down. The wind is a little stronger than I thought it was when I was leaving town. That's, no buildings here to block the wind. So anyway, just wanted to get a shot of this real quick. We're back in business, and what I did, I kept the whole old wheel, which, the wheel itself is trashed, but it's got 3/4 of the spokes are new. So I'm going to swap them out, or take them off, and then I'm going to save the tire, save the tube, save the hub, take all the spokes off, put them back in my spare spokes pile, and then I can just toss what's left of the rim. It would have almost been cool to keep it, but I'm not going to carry that for the next 10,000 miles or whatever, so slight exaggeration, but maybe not by much. Okay, funny thought, it's about 4 o'clock. I just looked on Google Maps, and yeah, there's a truck pullout like half a mile from here, so I'm just going to go up to that. Probably just stay there for the night. That'll give me some time to work on the bike a little bit. I didn't really get it set up very good when I left the bike shop. I just threw the wheel on and went. So I didn't even put the new brake pads on yet. Anyway, I had also thought about hitting the Walmart and stocking up. I'll get it on the way out of town because I was going right past it. Well, then I forgot. Oops. There is a travel center about 45 miles from here. I should be able to easily make that tomorrow. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, but I'm not sure about winds yet. What I was laughing at, after eating at the buffet 2 or 3 or 4 times a day, the last 4 days, if I didn't eat anything for a day, I probably would not starve to death. As soon as I put the jacket on, now the sun comes out again. That's alright. I just didn't want to get all wet. Okay, I might have been overly enthusiastic to get out of town, but I swear it didn't look like this at 2:30 when I was rolling out. So it's definitely raining on the hill over there. That's rain. That's probably fresh snow on top of there. I don't need to worry about that too much. There's the sun. Little bits of blue on this side. That's definitely rain. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm liking the idea of this. I'm just going to need to work it a little bit more. I bought a whole bunch of these little keychain carabiners. So I'm going to make better use of that. So what I'm thinking is, on the bike, I left loops of paracord that I can just take those and snap onto it. So I think I'll just expand that a little bit. But for now, since this was in about the right spot, not quite ideal. What I should do is have the bike going sideways and then lean it. But I want to be as much out of the way as I can, and I'm not really looking for perfection on this. But the way I'm looking at this, having one panel that I can take off and move around, because it's got about 2 feet of wire on it, so I can take advantage of that and put it where I want it. I think that'll be good. So as it sits now, it's 4:30. Sun goes down at I think 6:30. I forget. So unless that sun breaks out a lot, we're probably not going to get very much today. Whatever. All right, we got a tire back on again. Not going to do play-by-play, but I'm like, I hand the guy this tire, which had that tube in it, and I'm pretty sure I patched it. I'll check it out in a minute to see if there's a fresh patch. I'm 10 miles from town. Yeah, that sucker's going down right away. So I'm like, all right, either I picked something up or I didn't patch it good enough. But when I patched it, I checked it in water, didn't see any leaks, but definitely not the bike shop's fault that I had a flat tire, because that's what I gave them. So yeah, I've done it to myself. Also of note, I did buy some new brake shoes or pads or whatever. So these should not wear through the innocent wheel like the other ones did. Oh, this was kind of funny. When we had it off, we were looking at it. So this is the part I've been looking at. You know, it's all like you shouldn't be able to put your finger through there. There should be like a solid piece there. And then on this side it's cracked, and it does go all the way around. But I think because the wheel was bent, it hit a couple spots harder, so that's where it wore through the first. And probably the side pulls aren't symmetrical, so one side wears faster than the other, right? Oh, also, yeah, I don't think I got the shoes anymore, but there was some metal sticking out of one of the brake shoes, or pads, or whatever you want to call them. So, yeah. I think what happened when I was putting this bike together, because this is the bike I wasn't planning on taking, so then at the last I started scrambling and just grabbing parts, because I had stripped, I think this is the bike I had taken the back brakes off, because I was just bouncing around through the sand on it, so didn't need them, and the back wheel was crooked, so I just took the brakes off, didn't matter. So time I go to put everything back together, I think pretty much all of these that I had were completely hard and sun damaged, right? Sun hardened. So this should be considerably better. Anyway, so we'll get brakes on there, and then I'll investigate that tube and see if I can find a leak. Pretty hard to find a leak with no water, and I don't want to waste my drinking water, so I'll probably just hang on to that and fix it later. This was something else that I noticed earlier, but I don't think I got it on the video. I'm not sure when it happened exactly, but at one point, because I had disconnected the brakes or when I first saw the damaged wheel, I took the brake pad off on that side so it wouldn't keep hitting, but then once in a while I'd forget and I'd grab the brake anyway. And so at that point, it pulled the whole thing off the center. So I've got a groove worn into the sidewall. I just had to get this shot. It's 10 after 6. All of a sudden, about 6 o'clock, it just broke out. Oh, does that feel good? I put my toque on. I had my jacket on. I was looking for my sweatshirt. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to break this wheel down. So I wanted to find my package of spokes, right? Because I'm going to take all the spokes off of that and save them, because 3/4 of them are good or new. I'm like, yeah, don't throw that away. So I'm going to strip this down a little bit. I'm going to keep the hub and the spokes and throw the rim away. And I've already got the tube and the tire over there. That tube leaks now. I knew what bag this was supposed to be in. I've got one marked cold and one is not marked, so that's the closed, right? it should have been right here. For some reason, at some point, I moved it to the backpack that I wear. So I'm like, I completely had to go all the way through that, and then I looked in there and like, I don't remember doing that, you know. So in the process, now I got everything dug out of off the bike, right, to find it. So, okay, work fast and then start picking everything up again. But okay, it's about 10 minutes to 7 on the 22nd. That's where your sunset is now. I'm kind of watching it now that we had I'm in the new time zone. You know, it seems so funny because St. George was a week ago, and it's like 40 miles from here. It's crazy. I was like, when I was sitting there in Mesquite, somebody's like, oh yeah, maybe St. George, you know, looking for something or whatever. And I'm like, right, yeah, you know, because I came out of St. George probably 2 or 3 miles or something like that and stopped. And then the next day was coming down through the gorge, didn't get very far, or, you know, and then I cracked the wheel. I only went, oh yeah, the one day I had horrible headwinds, didn't get very far. Next day I tore up that wheel, didn't get very far. And then I sat there from Sunday night until today's Friday at the casino, right? So counting back, yeah, it's that should have been a day instead of a week, you know. 2 days that I didn't get very far and 4 days waiting for the wheel. So I think I got things squared away. Got the brake pads on and adjusted. At the bike shop, I was going to ask the guy for some tubes and I totally forgot. This was super cool though. I didn't say it before, but so I didn't feel really good about going in and asking for sponsorship or anything because I'm not local, you know. I'm not going to be a repeat customer or anything like that. But he gets it all set up and I'm like, but he had said something like maybe he could sponsor me on the wheel, right? And I was like, well, I didn't want to push my luck, you know. So I get ready to leave and I'm pulling up my wallet. He's like, oh, no, we're going to give it to you. I was like, oh, shoot, that's great. So, yeah, I will, when I edit this video, I'll make sure to put their logo and their website and everything. It's the only, as far as I know, it's the only bike shop in Mesquite. And it's right across the street from the Walmart. So that'll be easy enough to find. Yeah, just super nice people there. I had the most fun every time I walked in there. It was like, yeah, you have an idea or a question or something like that, and we just sit there and talk about it. It's like I started feeling bad about it because I know they were busy, you know. But it's like, hey, what about this or what about that? So anyway, I was telling him a little bit about the sun trip today. So I don't know if he's interested, but he does some bicycle races and stuff like that. I can't remember if he said Ironman or just triathlon. I mean, they're both pretty high level stuff. But I just was like, yeah, hey, this sun trip that's going to be next year, coast to coast. He's like, ooh, and he sells electric bikes. So I'm like, man, that would be a really good boost for your business if, you know, because I remember how many dealers were involved in other sun trips. So that had to have been big for them. So yeah, anyway. If you're ever in need of bicycle help in Mesquite, it looks like a really nice wheel too. So it's my sprocket on there. But yeah. Spent the last half an hour taking the old wheel apart. I just threw the rim away. So I got all the spokes off of it and I saved the hub. So if I needed the hub, I can use it again. But the outer part, the rim, was completely shot and useless. If I was on my way home, I would have been tempted to keep it, just, you know, to stick it up on the wall. I was like, oh yeah, here's that rim that I tore apart. But since I'm still on the outbound leg, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to carry that thing for about 18 more states. Yeah, and it's like, it's not worth the postage to mail it to myself at home or anything. So yeah, anyway. So life is good. Yeah, that was a really pleasant surprise. I think for the wheel, I don't know, he had said something like 50 or 60 bucks when I first asked him, and I never got a firm price on it, you know, because it was going to have to depend on which one they got or whatever. But yeah, just bolted right up, ready to go, nice and happy. So sure is nice to have a good wheel. Thanks for all your support. Okay, it's about 10 after 7 now. Sunset is behind me. This just reminds me of home a little bit, getting the sun bouncing off of all the mountains, making them all pink and everything. Yeah, I think we're in the clear from what I saw on the forecast and the moving radar and everything. I don't think I'm going to get any rain on me tonight. I was just kind of trying to pay attention because I've been in that hotel room for 4 days now, and I'm like, what time does the sun go down? I was like, I couldn't even remember anymore. Plus, I just had that time change like 10 miles ago or something like that. Anywho, yeah, so I would want to be off the road 2 hours before sunset at least to give me time to charge the batteries, which didn't happen today because it was just completely gray. Anywho, I don't think we even got 36. Should be 41. Yeah, 35.5, so. Is what it is. Considering it had 4 days to charge, but the batteries aren't very big. That's the other thing, so. Yeah. Alright, I think that's it for tonight. As always, thanks for your support.